Okay, eBay are changing their fees, and it's going to come into effect in April 2024. This is on eBay UK. I don't know if it's going to affect eBay.com as well. I suspect it will. So I just thought I'd do a quick run through of the big changes. Basically, the fees are going up for business sellers. There's a lot of them are staying the same. So there are some good bits. So they're basically giving you more free auctions, which is good. I've got a basic shop, and the majority of the things I sell are collectibles. So for me, I'll get 100 extra. I'll get 100 free auctions, not 50, which is great. Obviously, if you've got featured or anchored shops, then you get a crazy amount. The fees are going up, so it was £25. It's now going to be £27. If we come down here, the listing credits that you get, the kind of upgrade credits, which to be honest I never used anyway. These are things like having featured having bigger pictures, and there's other things, I think having a subtitle, things like that. So you got like £10 worth of credit if you had featured or anchor. Actually, the reason I didn't use them is because I didn't have the right shop. So but they're no longer included. I guess not really a big deal. To be honest, if you've got a featured shop, you're paying like sort of £80 a month after tax. So an extra £10 of subtitles probably isn't. If you're paying that much a month just in sub fees, you're probably coining it in anyway. So this £10 isn't going to make a huge difference. The final value fees are changing. So essentially, the biggest difference is this business here about the. There were a few categories where there was really quite a handy little benefit that meant they had a lower rate full stop, and this mainly applied to mobile phones, digital cameras, and then one or two other categories, I think laptops and computers. So most things were charged at 10.9%, and then there was 20% VAT on top of that, which tended to come out around 13%, which is essentially the same sort of fee that you would have before they got when they were still using PayPal. So eBay took a smaller fee, and then PayPal took like 3% or whatever it was. So now you still pay the same two or three categories which I think it was cameras, phones, and like computers and laptops, who all had this much reduced fee. So up to the first 400, you only paid 6.9%, which comes out to about 8.2 after VAT. And it was on the first 400, and then after that you only paid 2%. So now what they're saying is that low rate. The low rate still applies, but it applies to the first 1,000, not the first 400. And then everything above that is charged at 3%, not 2%. So this bit isn't a particularly big deal, but that's a massive deal. So there were a couple of times last year when I needed to clear some money off my credit card, and what I actually did was I bought iPhones. I bought an iPhone for about £800 using a cashback card. So I then got more or less 10% of that back as a in my bank account. So essentially I bought a phone for $720 and then put it straight back on eBay, and because I got 10% back, but then my eBay fees were only this comes to about 8% after VAT, and then there's a bit more, obviously this 2% adds up. So essentially I was buying a phone, getting 10% off it, and then selling it again for full price, sometimes even slightly more, sometimes like £50 more, that kind of thing. I still had to pay postage on the thing that I was selling, but I was able to effectively churn some money through a credit card very efficiently. On some I made money, some I didn't, because obviously I was doing it quickly. But the fact is, now I can't do that anymore. And if you're an iPhone, if you make a business selling iPhones on eBay, then your business just got a lot more expensive. So that's going to make quite a big difference, I think. So just scrolling down, these are all the categories that have changed. So the baby stuff. So baby stuff is affected again. There were some. It's playmats, jigsaw mats. Like, okay, it's a bit niche. Clothing has gone up. That's a big deal. So clothing is huge on eBay. So that's going up by 1%. That's baby clothes, women's handbags, men's shoes and trainers. Trainers is a huge market. And then what else have we got? So there's women's shoes and trainers are changing as well. 7% is if the selling price is £100 or more, whereas the men's trainers is still 11% or to nearly 12% if the price is below £100. Have I read that wrong? Okay, so what they're saying is if the trainers are worth more than £100, then it's 7%. But if they sell for less than £100, then it's 12%. So that for people who deal in high-end trainers, like your kind of collectible Nikes, then that will probably mean a reduction in your fees. Actually, that's not bad. But that's kind of again, it's quite a niche end of things. If you just sort of like, I've got some trainers on sale at the moment, and I think they got one bid at 99p, so that doesn't help. So computers and networking, this is the big one. So 6.9 was 6.9 and then 2% above and below 400. It's now just 9%. No, 10% basically. So there's 3% increase. So it's a lot of things as well. Okay, they've tweaked it a little bit, but it applies to lots of stuff. So that's networking. That's software. It's got desktops. Blank media. Blank media is huge. Blank media is a huge. If you think about all the SD cards, hard disks, and that kind of thing that gets sold, laptops. So that is massive. That's going to be a big chunk of money for eBay. But if you've got a business in that, then that's going to be a big deal. So coming down some more. So cameras and photography. Again, that's gone up, so it's the same as the phones and the computers. So it's gone from, it was just your first £400 earlier. So if you were selling like £1,000, like cameras are expensive things, digital cameras. I bought one recently bought a bundle of stuff that was about £800, and that person will have paid a lot less now. That person paid whatever it was, 7%. On it, plus another 2% on half of it. So what would that be? So 7% would be 800. Would be. Oh, you're gonna test my maths now. So that'd be £8. £8 times 7. Is that 56? So £56 plus another. Anyway, so it's close to 60 quid. Whereas now it would just be 7% on 1,000. So it'd be 7% on everything. So they pay. Ignore my maths, but basically they're paying more now. So digital cameras is massive, and digital cameras and lenses is huge. I mean, I put that camera on sale with a few of the bits, and then I put the 3 lenses on sale, and that was about 3 weeks ago. I've got 1 lens left. That's it. Everything else has gone, and they got a lot of views. So let's have a look. Camera, drone accessories, okay. Saunas, I would quite like a sauna, but it doesn't really affect me. So they're actually coming down a little bit, some of them. I think, so here they go, they're just getting rid of that kind of beneficial, if you sell really expensive stuff, we ain't going to charge you as many fees on it. Sound and vision. So, again, it's the same sort of thing where before you had quite beneficial little, if you were selling high-end electronics, basically you used to get quite a decent bonus on your fees, but now you don't. They're certainly kicking it. If you imagine how many people sell, you can imagine people selling like a decent TV or some high-end audio equipment, maybe not headphones, but for kind of 600-700, that kind of thing. But the amount of people who are going to sell it for more than 1,000, it kind of really, I bet it's really cutting. I bet there's a huge amount of stuff that's cut off by that. Mobile phones. Now this is the big one. This is huge. Like I said earlier, I sold a phone and I made. It was really useful to me to be able to do that. Now I can't. Basically, it's if you imagine how many phones. Like, okay, the newest iPhone might be going for 1,200 quid at any one time, like whatever the latest one is. The latest one at the moment is an iPhone 14. I suppose when they come out, the prices go mad, and each one that comes out is a touch more than the last one. So you might find that when the iPhone 15 or whatever it's called comes out, maybe that'll be 1,400 quid. But all the other iPhones will be below that. So if you're buying, you might find the last model might be 800, 900 pounds, and before you'd only pay the top. You wouldn't even pay top whack, but you'd pay the top level on a much smaller portion of it, only than half of it. So yeah, so that's it. So Julian watches, that's gone up. That's gone up 1% as well. So they're clobbering everyone really, and it's hard. I don't know. It's hard to justify saying, oh well, prices have gone up, and because it's a percentage. So I don't know how they're justifying it. If they are even justifying it, they're just like, we're eBay, screw you. So DIY. Okay, not a massive change, but again, it's this 1,000. So they're pushing up again. So it's gone from 250 to 500. So furniture. So again, that's quite a big thing. If you imagine the amount of furniture, either new or old, that's sold on eBay, that's again, that's gonna hit people. So let's have a look. DIY and furniture again. These are just pushing up a bit. Nothing massive. Vehicle parts. Now this is a big part of business on the UK, so that's still the same. Okay, so the vehicle parts, it's gone from 2% to 3% essentially. So this bit is staying the same. Oh, that's tyres. Right, GPS. Okay, so the vehicle parts is limited to these things. Power tools and equipment is quite a big thing though. Okay, so it's not so much all the parts and accessories, because vehicle parts is a huge business on eBay, but these are quite specific, so I don't know how much these will affect you. Let's have a look. So there's a few examples, fee updates for people selling sneakers, so trainers. You sell prices. Okay, so that's just confirmation that if you're selling expensive trainers, then you get a 7% fee, not a 10% fee. So I wonder if that's to try and compete with your companies like your Depop's and your Mercaris and some of the other kind of platforms that are more clothing centric. So free listing upgrades, blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick video. It's obviously not very high tech or with fancy editing or anything. Just let me know what you think. Let me know if this is affecting you. Let me know how you feel about it. And as I say, I sell most of my stuff in collectibles, or at least I'm trying to. So it's not going to change for me. But yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, leave me a comment and maybe consider subscribing if you find this sort of thing useful. Thanks very much. Bye bye.